telling everybody the good news of Corey LaJoy, and I appreciate that.
Usually gets you there. I appreciate you from across the top.
What is going? Season of the shoe show. We are not talking Gucci shoes, as I'm sure fancy people in LA are wearing right now. No, we are talking about the one and only Corey LaJoy, the super shoe of NASCAR, and just anything NASCAR related. Super pumped to have you guys here today. We have planned to meet with a couple of buddies that we all know, Mike and Derek, and we're just going to be talking about the 2024 season. And I wanted to say, if you guys haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and share it. If you're on Facebook, hang out with us on Team Super Shoe on Facebook. It's a group there. That's where everything is started. This will be posted later in the audio realm. If you want to hear us and not watch us, it's totally cool. And this show, if y'all are brand new, this is for the fans, by the fans. We are just geeky fans for Spire and Corey LaJoy and for NASCAR. We all grew up loving NASCAR, and glad y'all are along to just chat away. So, Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, man. Cheers to you. It's 2024. Man, the racing season is upon us. Thank God football's over. There's no more college football. NFL, whatever. It's time for the real sports. I am so pumped, man.
Yeah, man. How was your off season, man? I heard you did something exciting.
Yeah, I did. So it was a good off season. I can't complain. Some of you might know the guy that drives that car. So had some ink added over the off season, and had my daughter Charlotte. I had her name put on my left arm, and so yeah, man, it's really good. I'll be proud to show up to Talladega or a warmer race later this summer and be in the grandstand shirtless and showing off the old 7 tattoo.
Hell yeah! Well, I didn't tell you guys this because I wanted to tell you on the show live in front of all 7 of our fans, and I got a tattoo over the off season as well. So I got to move the mic to show you. Hold on. So I hope Corey likes it. right over my heart.
Oh.
So I look forward to his reaction.
Be careful heading to the beach, man. They're going to flock all over you.
I know. I mean, I think I made me and my wife's love life a little bit better. So
is that a real tattoo, bro?
Yeah.
That's good. That means nobody will ever call me over dedicated. I don't have the man's face on my body. I've just got his number. I mean, you can't say nothing about that.
Yeah.
That's
so,
awesome.
Derek, how have you been?
I'm good, man. I want to apologize, first of all, because it's probably my fault the show is running late. The wife decided she wanted something to eat, so we popped off at Chili's.
Yeah.
To go. We got the food. It was fresh. It was hot. It was good to go. The only problem was there was too many choices that she couldn't pick out what she wanted. So typical wife thing. She's running behind. She finally gets it. We get it. Now we're running late. I apologize. Also had to stop off, get my Celsius. But speaking of Chili's, we are going to be launching a hashtag campaign over on the Facebook side, over on Team Super Shoe. Hashtag LaJoy the Fiesta. So you guys pop into a Chili's wearing your Corey LaJoy swag. Take a picture, share it over at the Facebook page. Make sure you include the hashtag LaJoy the Fiesta. So that way Chili's knows that we support them for supporting our guy. And whoever has the best picture, well, I think around April 1st, we're going to pick the best picture. And the winner of the hashtag LaJoy the Fiesta campaign, the one that we picked, you're going to get a $50 Chili's gift card and some free LaJoy swag. Just make sure that y'all come over to the Facebook page. Rules, everything's going to be over there. And I'm I'm excited to see what we can turn up.
Yeah, man, me too. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm always happy to, this the whole goal of Team Shoe and the shoe show and all that is just to spread the love and for Corey, and we want to bring in more fans and give them a little bit more content just to follow, because it's a lot harder to follow a guy. I mean, he's getting more and more attention and getting better and better, but it's a lot harder to follow a guy that isn't going to be interviewed on Fox, for an hour before the race starts tonight. So they're going to focus on Hamlin or the 9 car or whoever else, and
hey, wait. Speaking of Hamlin, what the heck are you wearing over there, man?
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't point it out.
So, oh no, it's purple. You can't miss it.
Well, I lost a bet last year, so I am wearing a Denny Hamlin T-shirt provided by my good buddy Derek, and it was all because I lost this contest. So last year, I think it was 2 or 3. I can't remember now. It's been 3 years since we've been doing the Team Super Shoe. We're finally starting to meet up at the racetracks, and me and Mike, we met up with the group out at Atlanta last year, and Derek thought he could show me up at Talladega when he went a month or so later, and I said, bring it on. And apparently that was the wrong choice, because he had double the amount of people, and there's Corey there and some fans, and he even got Leanne in there, so that's like double points. So, you win some, you lose some. So, that's
well,
right.
Hey, you lose bigger and badder at Dega when you lose, baby.
Right.
Yeah. Well, brought you guys on to talk about 2024. Got a lot to talk about. Just the season, silly season. Got Spire to talk about. Got the Clash. I guess some of the races of tonight and hopefully tomorrow. So wanted to start off with the 2024 season. We have for 2024 season, the silly season, we have Harvick. He just retired, and stepping into his shoes, or into his seat at least, is Josh Berry. Something interesting about Josh is that he has 22 wins in the NASCAR Cars Tour. Xfinity, in the past 3 years, he's had 5 wins, 28 top 5s, 50 top 10s. And in the Cup Series, last year, he subbed in 10 races, and he got a top 5. He got 3 top 10s. He also got Nemechek coming in at the Legacy Motor Club and into Toyota. He, in the Truck Series, Nemechek had been in there for 10 years. He has 12 wins. He was 3rd in points. In Xfinity, he's been 5 years. He has 9 wins, and 4th in points is the highest. You also have Daniel Hemrick, the Legacy as well. He did well in trucks. He was there for 4 years. He was in the Xfinity for 6 years. He won a championship. Only 1 race win, which is interesting. 53 top 5s and 104 top 10s. We all know Noah Gragson and what he has accomplished in his career, and he's going to Stuart Haas in the number 10 car, replacing Eric Almirola. You got Haley going to Rick Ware Racing. Interested to see how that all plays out. He seems pretty confident with that move from Colleague. And SVG, he is going to be full-time Xfinity with Colleague Racing in partnership with Trackhouse as well. And also include, he's going to be in at least 7 Cup events. So with all that being said, I wanted to know who you guys think is going to be the best, and where do you think they're going to go for these kind of rookies, I guess.
Rookie class. I'm really anxious to see what Hamburger can do. Kind of ironic, Hamburger picked up some Wendy's sponsorship, but I know he's going to be pretty good at some of the road courses, maybe some of the small tracks, because having to use the braking and knowing how to do all that. But I don't know, man. Justin Haley with his new team, obviously not a rookie. I think they're probably a couple years behind. think Spire beat them to the punch what they're trying to do with that. But Josh Berry, man, he's proven that he's good in whatever he can get into. And once he gets his feet under him, I don't know if he's going to get a win, but I'd see him running up front a good bit this year.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm pretty interested to see what Gregson brings to the table in the 10 car. Now, it hasn't been a secret that SHR was not super dominant by any fashion last year, and in particular the 10 car. Eric Almirola did not run too tremendously, if you will, and so it'll be kind of interesting to see what Gregson brings to the table on that. Now, granted, I don't know exactly what the lead cars are for SHR versus what you might consider more of an R&D type of car, but I would say the 10 probably falls into the latter half of that category. So it'll be interesting just to see what he can do, and congratulations on his return after all of the turmoil and otherwise controversy that he went through. So let's hope that he makes more responsible decisions going forward, and proudly represents SHR in the 10 car.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for his opportunities, and right or wrong, I'm happy to at least see Noah Gregson get a good return, and his career isn't ruined. So moving on to the track edition of Iowa Speedway. I don't remember a whole lot of Iowa, and also rumors of Rockingham and Nashville, the Nashville Fairgrounds. I don't know a ton about them. I'm sure I watched The Rock many times in years past. I just don't remember it. So I wanted to know, do you guys see Iowa putting on a good show, a good racing for the cars that we have today? And also, what do y'all think about the rumors of The Rock or of Nashville?
I remember Iowa putting on a fairly decent show in a lower series whenever they would run there. I'm anxious. I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm excited to see what's going to turn up at Iowa. Being a fan of the history of the sport, the one thing that excites me the most is the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Richard Petty and a lot of legends from our sport used to run there back in the day. And, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is pretty hyped about it, pretty excited about what can happen with that. And it seems like with what's going on behind the curtains over there, that they're getting some traction with it. I think the idea is to turn it into like a complex, and I'd like to see that come back. Hopefully by the time they can get some traction with that and get that back, the cars will have the brake package figured out, the short track package figured out, and can put on a good show. So that way we'll come back there and people will want to come back, and they'll be willing to pay the higher prices for the seating. Skip said on Stacking Pennies, first episode this season, that you can run at a smaller fairgrounds and you can run at some of the smaller tracks. He was referring to the exhibition race that may replace the Clash. Go to a smaller track. If it's a small track, I went to North Wilkesboro last year, and I was willing to come out of pocket and pay a decent amount of money just so that way I can say I saw the first race back at North Wilkesboro. And I'd like to see Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway turn about that same result. Anything that gets fans excited about NASCAR these days and not have people picking it apart piece by piece, I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents. So you see in this little video collage that Josh is playing to the side, if you'll notice throughout the corners, there's seams in the racetrack. And so for me, that's kind of similar to like what Fontana, California was. And so I'm interested to see how these next gen cars will perform with them being so temperamental, I guess, aerodynamically speaking. So we'll see how much that upsets the grip, and see if that kind of causes guys to maybe get a little more loose in the corner, or maybe a little more tight to the center off, and that causes them to wash up the track, and it creates passing opportunities and what have you. Um, so I can't say that I've watched a whole lot of like Xfinity or IndyCar races at that particular track, but I am excited just because it's going to be a new track for the Cup Series. I'm always interested in growth and new things for the sport. And as far as touching on Rockingham and the fairgrounds, so I remember being probably, I don't know, 6 years old or so. My dad and my mom, they took a trip up to Nashville. They're big country music fans. And so I remember kind of walking around the streets of downtown Nashville and going to these different kind of, museums and whatever else. Well, my dad, he took me over to an amusement park there. It was called Opryland USA. And I remember it being somewhat close to the fairgrounds racetrack. Well, there was something going on there that day. So I remember, uh, I don't know if we actually went into the grandstands, if we were standing outside the track. But anyway, I can remember seeing the facility like in my head, and I feel like it would be such a cool place even today to bring the premier series of NASCAR back to. I think the most important thing is that it's probably paying some homage to its roots, if you will, kind of like with bringing back North Wilkesboro. And as far as Rockingham goes, so NASCAR hasn't said anything like, oh, we plan to try and put it on the schedule by this year or this date or what have you. But I follow Rockingham on all of their social media outlets, and I see how much money has been put into this place with repaving it. And I believe I read somewhere that they're also going to get lights put in around the track there as well. So for me, my personal opinion, I feel like surely all this is being done because there's going to be a bigger or more premier series racing that's going to come into that facility and put on a show. I can't see all that being done just to run like local Friday Night Legends cars. And no disrespect to the local guys that, put their hard-earned money toward putting their cars on the track every week. I don't see millions of dollars being invested into a facility without knowing that there's probably a good potential for a return on that investment. So myself, I'm really hoping that Rockingham comes back. For me, it's kind of like a miniature Atlanta Motor Speedway before its reconfiguration into what we know it as today. It always produced a lot of good racing and really good tire wear and multiple grooves, and so we'll see how that pans out. I really hope to see the Cup Series back at the Rock one day.
Yeah, I agree. So pretty cool steps. And, I'm glad, as much as I criticize certain things like, LA and stuff, I'm glad that NASCAR's not just sitting still, that we're moving forward. We're doing different things. So it's a good time. So, and I'm glad they're considering, the possibility of going back to a classic racetrack. So the next subject I wanted to talk about is going to be Larson racing the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 in the same day, the double this year. And wanted to talk about just kind of the history of some of the cup drivers doing the double. So Robbie Gordon attempted it 5 times. His first attempt in 97, he qualified for both races, but the Indy 500 was postponed by rain, and he eventually completed it 2 days later. Tony Stewart attempted it twice, 1999 and 2001. Out of the drivers who have attempted to complete both races, Stewart is the only one to finish both, doing so in a combined 7 hours, 43 minutes, and 42 seconds in 2001. John Andretti was the first one to do it in 1994. He started both races. He started at the Indy 500 in the 3rd row, 2 rows behind his cousin Michael, and one row behind Mario. John ran as high as 3rd and finished 10th, 4 laps behind the winner, Al Unser Jr. And then after flying to Charlotte, Andretti eventually finished 36th, dropping out on lap 220 with an engine failure. Kurt Busch was the latest driver to take on the double. He did it in 2014. That year, he finished 6th at Indy and was the highest finishing rookie. Busch tied Gordon and Stewart with his 6th place finish in Charlotte, which equaled the best showing for the double drivers. So he got sixth place and sixth place. Davy Jones also attempted the double back in '95. When he attempted to qualify for the Indy 500, he failed to do so, or he failed to do so at the Coke 600, so he didn't qualify in. So, talking about all this, I want to know y'all's opinion. Does Larson beat Kurt Busch's record of P6 and P6 for Indy and Charlotte?
I think he surely does. If you look at, granted, Kurt Busch is a champion, but I think the point in his career when he attempted it, he wasn't at his peak. He was still winning races and he was still performing well, but he wasn't at his peak. He was a little bit older than Kyle is now as well. I think Kyle Larson is in his prime right now. He's winning races. He's won a championship. His championship was just a couple of years ago. Kurt Busch's championship was a lot further behind him whenever he attempted a double. So I think if you look at how active Kyle Larson is in the off season, even during the regular season, when he goes and runs a dirt track here or there, he showed up nobody was expecting him at the Chili Bowl. Surprised everybody this year. He showed up at the Chili Bowl. He's active. He's constantly working on his racing. I think he's got probably the best chance of anybody. If you go back and look at John Andretti was a good racer. You got to be a good racer to make it to the Premier Series of NASCAR and to run on the track at Indy with the big boys that do it regularly. So I'm not taking anything away from the other guys that have done it. I just think Kyle Larson, being as successful as he's been, has got the best opportunity out of all of them. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him come away with the Indy 500 Rookie of the Year and probably finish within the top 5 of both. That's my prediction, just based on what I've seen him do just over the past couple of years. So I'm excited. I geek out for the Indy 500 and I tear up whenever they do the full pre-show. And as soon as Taps comes on, man, Waterworks come on, and then Dry It Up, Kleenex, let's go racing. So I'm even more psyched this year because Kyle Larson's a likable guy too. I think the only people that aren't really going to pull for Kyle are the same people that wouldn't pull for Jimmy Johnson, because Jimmy Johnson was just, he's good. He goes out there, he wins, he runs competitive, but he doesn't have a personality. At least Kyle Larson's wife has personality, and I wouldn't mind seeing her shotgunning a beer twice in one day.
Right. Yeah. I have nothing but high hopes for Larson. I mean, you'd be a fool not to. So, next topic, a topic everybody watching has an opinion on, is Spire's big 2024. So you have a lot of moves I'm going to go through. So last year they bought a charter that became the 71 with Trackhouse Racers driver Zane Smith, but it's a 71 car that's owned by Spire. They bought KBM and is using both the old Kowicki shop, their original Spire shop, and the new, now retired KBM shop, much bigger shop so they have 2 shops now. They have 3 full-time Cup rides with the switch of Ty Dillon with Carson Hocevar in the number 77 car. They hired successful shop guys, not just any shop guys. They hired people that have won in SHR and Penske, crew chiefs Steven Duran and Luke Lambert. You have a new president of Spire, Doug Duchart. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. There's more employees behind the scenes. I think I can't remember if I read it in an article, I heard it on Stacking Pennies. I can't remember where it was, but that they're like close to 130 employees now, and just 2 years ago they were like 30, I think. So they bought 4 truck rides. Again, Corey said that on Stacking Pennies. And I think they still have a part-time Xfinity ride as well. That's not verified yet, though. They have 9 race sponsorships in the 77 for Ziegler Auto. Gamebridge is primary for the 7 and 77. And I believe, and Chili's and everything else I've seen, I believe that Corey's finally got everything nailed down before the season even started, as far as sponsorship goes, and that's huge. Chase Purdy went to the 77 in the Nash truck, and I'm sure there's a few others because they said they got 4 of them. And 2023, it was interesting. KBM trucks, they finished 11th in points, 11 top 10 and 3 top 5. So I guess that was just one driver. It was just one KBM truck. But so all this being said, we're so used to Aspire. That's the small team, they're the underdog. And now we're making all these big chess moves, and it's like, Monopoly. So where do you see these moves going? Do you think that they're biting off more than they can chew, or is this going to be the year where Spire finally starts getting some wins?
I think we're going to get some wins. When you add employees to the mix, you add drivers to the mix, you get a lot more feedback. And the fact that Carson Hocevar was able to go out there last year, run the way that he ran, Zane Smith ran well as well. You get more feedback, you get more ideas. So I think Corey, being the elder statesman now, I think he'll be willing to take some of that feedback and get out there on the track. And I'd like to see Corey get that first win. I don't know if he's going to, but I think it's definitely going to be competitive between the 3 of them to get that first win. We'll see. Mike, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I'm going to Atlanta Motor Speedway, the second race of the year, to watch Corey LaJoie get his first career win. Now, a lot of you may say, nay, there's no way that's going to happen. Let me tell you something. If you haven't been to Atlanta Motor Speedway and watched Corey LaJoie wheel that 7 machine around the track, that's a talented bitch right there. Excuse my language, but he is talented. And so I'm just in my heart, that's what I want to believe is going to happen, right? Don't know for sure that it will. But as far as the off-season changes and the growth that we've all witnessed Spire take on over the off-season, I'm pumped. Now, a big part of me goes, okay, well, Spire has spent all this money to buy charters and to buy a new race shop and take on new cars and new drivers through all 3 different top touring Premier Series in NASCAR. For me, this is the year that it's probably time to kind of put up or shut up, right? I think it's probably hard to say, hey, we had all this money to spend on doing all these other things, but we probably don't have enough money to justify you taking a chance to wreck a race car while trying to be competitive. So for me as a fan, I want to see Corey kind of mixing it up a little more, maybe sticking the nose of that car in places that he wouldn't normally put it in, taking some chances. Because at the end of the day, folks, you miss 100% of the shots that you never take, right? So I'm excited at the end of the day, just to paraphrase all this, because I don't want to go on a tangent. But I think 2024 is going to be the most promising year that we've ever seen for Spire Motorsports, and in particular, 7-car. I'm pumped.
So if you look at the growth that Corey's made with that team just over the past few years, they set a goal, they achieve it. They set another goal, they achieve it. They want to finish here, they want to finish there. Last year, he finished every race that he went out there and ran. So he's got that under his belt. You don't want to do that for a second season. You don't want to go out there and settle for the same thing you did last year. You want to go out there. This year's goal is win a race. So that's the next step. Win a race, get in the playoffs. Who knows where we go from there? But Yeah. I mean, Spire is going to shine this year. I think I'd like to see them put Trackhouse's second year to shame. Honestly, I'd like to see all three drivers come away with a win, and then people will kind of hush up about Trackhouse. Trackhouse is good. We've seen that. Both their drivers have got wins. They've got MotoGP rides now. They've gone out in Trans Am series and they've won races in Trans Am series. Okay, Trackhouse is good. We know. It's Spire's year, y'all. It's Spire's year. Corey's going to get a win. Zane Smith could get him. I'm just going to hush up because, like Mike said, there's tangents to be had, and this is not the time for those tangents.
Oh no, it's the perfect time. Because I don't know if you've ever tuned into the shoe show before, but there's tangents that occur all the time, man.
I think all 10 eyeballs that are watching this right now live all agree. So that makes 13 of us. So we're a confident army.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in. I'll tell you what, knowing that there's only 10 of y'all here, that just makes me feel so much less nervous, man. I thought we was going to have like 1.2 million viewers, so this really knocks the edge off. I'm so pumped to hear that.
No, we got to get the word out there first. The next one's going to blow up, man. I'm already spending my millions of dollars from YouTube.
Oh, well, I'm glad you got millions of dollars. I only have like pennies, but I will take all them stacks of pennies and I'm going to invest them right here on Team Super Shoe.
Somebody said on Facebook, your tangent is legit. So it's too legit to quit. So anyways, all right, next subject. Tonight's clash. Well, tonight's, I guess, qualifying races to the clash. But either way, it's the first day of wheels hitting the tracks, and I'm excited. It is the third annual clash. It is the third annual. Tonight's schedule is 40 cars will practice in 3 different groups.
Wait, I just don't like that.
I'll mute you, Mike. Go ahead. 40 cars will practice in 3 different groups at 6 o'clock tonight. The racers' fastest time in practice will be kind of like their qualifying lap for their heat. And this is different than the previous years. Are kind of like that. It kind of the small track like this, you're going to where you start is very important. Track position is very important. 4 10-car heat races starts tonight at 8:30 on FS1. Top 5 of each heat race tonight qualifies into the main on Sunday, and they just dice them in however they see fit. The heats and in the heats tonight and in the last chance qualifier tomorrow, only green flag laps count with no overtime. Hopefully tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox, you have the 75 lap last chance qualifier race, LCQ, for the racers that did not qual in. Corey's been a part of that in the past 2 years. Hopefully this year we don't have to worry about that. The starting position, 2 people from the LCQ will go into the main with a total, I think it's 23. The champ from last year automatically goes in. So starting positions for the LCQ will be determined by finishing order from the heat races. And so the highest in 2023 season point standings goes in. So whoever in the points that didn't race in will get in on, however that works out. And the Sunday main, finally. The main event will be tomorrow night, hopefully at 8 p.m. Eastern, 150 laps under the lights of LA Coliseum. It's going to be on Fox, MRN, Sirius. So, with all these confusing things said, I want to know, what do you guys see for Corey? Does he finally qualify in? It's been a disappointment the past 2 years. And also, who do you see winning the whole thing?
You lost me on the heat races. Can you give us the rundown again? I'm joking. Dude, if you're a Corey LaJoie fan, then you watch Stacking Pennies. And on Stacking Pennies, you saw Skip get excited for Corey. And you saw Corey get excited because this format is perfect for him. So you've got an excited Corey, with nothing to lose, and it's possibly the last chance. Sorry, NASCAR. Hopefully, the last time we see LA in this format. Bring on Nashville Fairground Speedway for next year's Clash. Just saying. Anyways, he's excited. Got nothing to lose. He's got the car beneath him. I think he's going to go out there. I think he's definitely going to get into the race. Now, whether or not he makes it through the chaos that is going to ensue after the green flag drops, we'll see. You can have all the talent in the world, and that's proven that you don't necessarily see that checkered flag when it drops at the end. So I'm excited. I'm stoked. I want to see cars on track. I'm jonesing. After watching the new Netflix special, Mike, take over before I just lose my.
Man, I just want to tell you that's a really solid plug that you just threw right there for that new Netflix series titled Full Speed. So I've only seen the first episode, but I'm excited about it. I think that's a hell of a show, but I digress. So, Derek, you spoke earlier about how Spire and Corey's goal each year is to set one tangible goal, meet it, set a new tangible goal, and then meet it and carry on, right? Well, the last 2 years, we've not been anything to write home about. So I feel like this year should be pretty easy to meet the new goal, which is to qualify in, race in, whatever title you want to give it. I don't want to step out on any kind of limb and say anything crazy like, oh, Corey's going to win the Clash at the Coliseum. Honestly, I don't know who's going to win the Clash. I think it's all going to ultimately depend on who doesn't get turned off of the front bumper from the car behind them. This, in my opinion, this race the last 2 years has seen so much chaos and so much calamity. I think it really forces drivers to use the bumper and become impatient. It's hard to pass. It's just a lot of different variables, right? So I don't know who's going to win. I'm not going to pick anybody to win. And I think a lot of that is just because I'm not super invested in this race. I'm going to tune in because I'm a NASCAR fan and because I'm a Corey LaJoie fan. But regardless of whatever happens, it's not really going to affect my opinion on the season. All of us tried and true NASCAR fans, these three people in the frame, myself, Derek, and Josh, we all know the true season starts in 2 more weeks down in Daytona, Florida for the Daytona 500, the great American race, baby. If y'all ain't pumped up, bless your heart, because I feel like this year's Daytona 500 is really going to be something special. And if our guy in the 7 car can find a way to sneak up there and cash in when the pay window opens at the Daytona 500, that whole investment that Spire made over the offseason, we're seeing a pretty big return right off the bat. So that's what I'm hoping for, guys.
Yep, I agree. So next year, NASCAR calls up the shoe show, and we collectively have to decide where we're going to send the Clash next year. Not at LA. They're not going to repave. Where are we picking? Where are we sending NASCAR?
Nashville Fairground Speedway. North Wilkesboro was a perfect example of what can happen when you take a track people have been begging for to come back. That you see exactly what can happen. I was there. I've been to several races, and North Wilkesboro was the first race I attended where the general feeling across the whole thing was everybody was hyped. Usually you get hyped for your fan, for your driver. Usually you get hyped for your driver's team. You get hyped for something. You're never really hyped overall. Nobody was upset. Everybody was excited because you're at North Wilkesboro. And it didn't matter what happened. You knew you were going to see race cars on track. You knew they were going to be on this hallowed ground. You knew you were going to watch them go around in certain, obviously Kyle Larson did what he did. He did a spectacular burnout around the whole track afterwards. But, and this just goes, I'm going to say it right now. I wasn't a Dale Jr. fan until he retired. once he retired and I saw his respect for the nostalgia and the history of the sport, I became a big Dale Jr. fan. And the fact that he is so much behind the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and the history that's there, if you want to pump people up and get them excited for an exhibition race before the Daytona 500, you go to hallowed grounds. You go to where Marty Robbins used to race. You know, you go where there's a lot of respect for the history of the sport. You don't go somewhere where it's questionable what the fan turnout is going to be. You know, I'm jaded about it, but about LA from the get-go, because my first Daytona 500 speed weeks became a Daytona 500 speed week, because that was the first year they moved the Clash to the West Coast. But it's not in the backyard of the Daytona 500, but it would help the sport tremendously to bring back that North Wilkesboro experience somewhere where automatically you've got a larger fan base that have been dreaming for this to happen. Just my thoughts.
Well, real quickly, my thought is I think we should take the Busch Clash to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, since we're trying gimmicks like the LA Coliseum. Let's go up there and have it in Indiana in the beginning of February. There'll probably be 8 inches of snow on the racetrack. We can take the Goodyear radial tires off of the cars, replace them with snowmobile tracks. You see where I'm going with this. And, everybody can be bundled up in their Carhartt jackets and overalls and bibs, and they could just be a heck of a show. I think that's what we should do. Indianapolis has got my vote.
Just dodge the yellow snow in turn 4, right?
Oh, no, I love yellow snow. That's my favorite time of the day, bro.
Why does that not surprise me?
Whatever, dude.
All right. Well, final topic for today before we let everybody go is the Daytona 500. And I wanted to specifically talk about last year's 500. The notes I took towards the end of the race, RFK was leading at the end of the race for the 500. Kyle Busch was leading right before they threw the final yellow. And it was interesting. He came on the radio and said, back in 98, that would have been the win, boys, referencing Dale Earnhardt. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because after several restarts, a restart with 17 to go, and then the green, white, checkered, which stopped Kyle from winning. Stenhouse was surging and got the win. Corey came in 22nd. He did pretty well throughout the race. I don't think he led, but he was in the top 10 and top 5 through a lot of it. So debating this year, who do you see win? Who do you see starting the big one? And how does Spire and Trackhouse work together? I guess because we kind of have that alliance now.
Mike, you go first. I want to piggyback off of you.
Damn it. Okay. All right. So my thought, first of all, who's going to start the big one? Probably Recky Stenhouse Jr. It seems like he's the one, and not to pick on this guy, but like it's a running joke at this point, right? I feel like he's usually the one that gets a little over aggressive and, maybe pushes somebody at the wrong time or gives them too hard of a shove or what have you. So he's got my vote for starting the big one that we always see at these plate racing tracks like Daytona and Talladega. The Corey LaJoie fan in me says that Corey LaJoie is going to win the Daytona 500, right? But I've been wishing for that for a few years now, and it hasn't came true yet. But a man can dream. So I'm hoping that Corey wins this year, but probably more realistically, and just talking to a few people behind the scenes, not naming any names, I surely believe William Byron could be a threat for Daytona 500 champion this year. So, and that's probably not a huge surprise to too many people. I mean, Hendrick always shows up with some really incredible speed. both in single car runs for qualifying and then the overall Daytona 500 as a whole. So my money is on William Byron. My hopes and dreams, heart and soul, are on the 7 car for Spire Motorsports and Corey LaJoy.
I'm going to start with who I think is going to cause the first big one. And I think it's going to be Brad Keselowski. Now, I love Brad. Before I became a penny stacker following Corey LaJoy, I was a Keselowski fan. One of the highlights of my racing fandom career was watching Brad win his last race for Team Penske at Talladega. I just recently got my voice back from hollering like a little girl about it. But he has a lot to prove. And he's got his team winning races, and he's not. And he wants that 500 bad. He wanted a couple of years ago to get up there before he got taken out in that hard crash. He wanted to get that W for his dad. So I think just that drive, desire, and determination that all the drivers have are just going to come full head with Brad. You know, he's shown that he can be an aggressive pusher, and there's going to be some rookies out there that aren't used to the way these cars handle. And I think he may get one or two of them in front of him. And then once that happens, the big one follows suit. Ricky won the 500 last year, so I don't want to throw shade on him. As far as winning, you know, I'm going to share the same sympathies Mike does. I think you just let Super Shoe know that they got a Coinstar machine down there in Victory Lane, and that's where he needs to go to cash in all these pennies he's been stacking up. So I would love to see him win, and I think he has a potential to win. If you look at what happened last year in the super speedway races, he can run up front. The year we were all holding our breath for a couple days after the hard crash with Ryan Newman. Let's not forget who hit Ryan Newman. It was Corey, because Corey was running up front. Ryan was going for the lead. He didn't fall 3/4 of the way back to the pack to get hit by Corey. He fell a couple cars back, and Corey was there. And he was racing so hard, his foot never left the throttle when he hit. So I'm gonna give the win to Corey. And I think Coinstar is missing out on a massive opportunity if they don't get some kind of associate sponsorship. How do you have a guy with a show called Stacking Pennies, and you've got Coinstar machines everywhere, and you don't jump on board that? Come on, man. Now, you're going to see, well, hopefully you won't see it, but there's going to be a fat man trying to do some cartwheels and backflips once Corey parks that sexy Chili's machine at Victory Lane.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell you what, man, it's getting alerts from buddies that are watching said that we're losing connection. YouTube said we violated a policy. So Facebook, let me see. Oh, Facebook's still going. There's a picture that says it's not going, but it's still going. I don't know. It's usually about the video highlights, so we'll have to figure that out on the next episode. But otherwise, it gets recorded, and we can always re-upload it. Other than that, I'm excited. I'm excited for tonight. As much as I'm not too much of a fan of LA, I'm excited to finally see some racing, and I'm super excited for Daytona 500. I like that Atlanta's coming up right after that, and we got a lot of good opportunities to look good, and hopefully it lasts all year. So,
for sure,
yeah, man. Well, somebody said Facebook, no problem so far. Maybe it was just my app, but either way. Otherwise, y'all have any closing comments before I let everybody go?
Don't forget, check out the Facebook page, Team Super Shoe Facebook page. Don't forget about LaJoy the Fiesta. We want to see pics. We want to see that hashtag. We want to see y'all out there. Look, Chili's is signed on for the 500. It ain't cheap to do that. They've signed on to be an associate sponsor all the way up to the end of March. So if enough of y'all get out there and enough of y'all jump on this hashtag LaJoy the Fiesta thing, and Chili's can see all the fans, the shoe fans showing up in numbers to go out there and have an El Presidente or to have some of their delicious burgers or Southwest egg rolls, which I've been burping up this whole show. Excuse me for that. Dude, and there's a $50 gift card and some LaJoy swag for y'all. Check out the Facebook page. See what y'all can do.
Yeah, so they have to be a part of Team Super Shoe on Facebook. They have to go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and they have to go and I guess it's follow Instagram. There's a brand new thing we're doing, and then they hashtag a picture. And I guess we'll pick when are we picking?
Yeah, make sure you go to Chili's wearing your LaJoy swag. That's important. We want to see the LaJoy fans. Don't show up with a generic Carhartt shirt or a Nike shirt. Show up with your Stacking Pennies swag, with your LaJoy swag. We'll sell for Spire Motorsports, but I don't want to see Zane Smith and I don't want to see Carson Hocevar because Chili's is going to be on Shoe's car. So y'all show up.
All of the Lord's people said amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, baby.
And so we have to get a selfie, hashtag the joy in the fiesta, do it on Facebook, and go like all our different outlets. And when are we picking? After their
the last associate sponsorship deal I think is March 25th. So fitting April Fools. We're gonna find the fools that were crazy enough to show up in force, get some pictures. If you want to get the waitress involved, if you want to get the restaurant involved, the best picture is gonna win a $50 gift card. I went there today. $50 get you a lot of El Presidente days, y'all. I mean, you can get some margs, like a lot of margs with $50. So don't disappoint us. All right.
Yeah, man.
So my closing thoughts on all of this is thank you all for tuning in to this first episode of the Shoe Show for 2024. Furthermore, just thank you for the support of the 7-Car, Corey LaJoy, Spire Motorsports, all of the sponsors that have came on board, both past and present. And so we appreciate y'all being here. As Josh stated at the top of this show, this whole page in this show was created for the fans, by the fans. This is all for y'all. And we just appreciate y'all's support. And we'll look forward to you guys tuning in on the next episode. Josh, you can maybe fill in the people a little more, but I believe the plan right now is to maybe try and go live before several different races in the early part of the season.
Yeah. So our plan this year is to do live shows to pregame with y'all before races. Just certain particular races that we think that everybody's extra excited about. May do Atlanta. I know Bristol's out in March. So we're going to look at the season and we're just going to play it, by ear. And also if there's anything fun to talk about and just try to keep things interesting. So otherwise, y'all, I appreciate everybody watching this show. Once again, it is the 3rd season. Super cool to be able to have the honor to represent Corey LaJoy. And I like I said in the beginning of the show, if you're not a member of Team Super Shoe, please come over and to Team Super Shoe and hang out with us. And if you're out the YouTube realm, subscribe, comment, all that, share it on other platforms. And we finally have an Instagram page where we're just going to kind of share videos. We just recently posted a hype video for Corey and why you should watch. And after seeing that on Facebook, I think it's at 11,000 views just on Facebook. So I figured maybe we should be branching out so that other people that maybe don't use Facebook see it. So, and if you're on the audio realm and you listen to us, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Otherwise, y'all, I appreciate you once again. Mike and Derek, man, it's always good to have you guys. And you guys are good friends in Team Super Shoe. And other than that, y'all, God bless, stay safe, and go Corey LaJoy.